All right, welcome back. We're now answering a question that came up a long time ago about supervision. And I'm going over through my entire career about supervisors, good ones and bad ones, and now I am a supervisor. So I'm going to tell you stories about me being a supervisor, what I did with being that position, and continue on with incompetent supervisors. I'm going to encounter, here it comes up, lieutenants and captains, believe it or not. But if you have any questions, questions or comments, please email me at rsbcopstories@gmail.com. Okay, thank you. We got over 80 of these, and we have over 355 on my realcopstoriesvideos.com website. So look them up and enjoy them, please. Okay, so now I'm working this squad. I've been on the job about 18, 19 years, and I'm a supervisor now. I got 3 guys under me. We picked up a new employee. Okay, now we found. See, when I'm trying to back up a little bit here, sidetrack. When you leave the policeman ranks and go and promote, you take an exam to be either a detective or a sergeant. Okay, you take a test, separate tests, and you become each one. And when you come out detective or sergeant, you're at equal rank, and then it goes up this way. You become a sergeant 2, which is a rocker for the military people underneath the stripes. Over here, you become a second step detective, and then you become top step detective, and then they come back again, and you take exams to become a lieutenant. So it's kind of like going like this and back. So sergeants are equal to detectives. So we picked up an ex-sergeant who took the exam to be a detective also. He wanted to have both chances of whatever he decided he wanted to do in the future to make lieutenant. Well, we found that guys that used to be sergeants come over and now they're detectives. They think they know everything. I'm sure you got somebody in the office. We used to call those guys Ike, I-K-E. That's an old term back from Eisenhower was in office. But now we call it Ikes, which means I know everything. Okay, so my partner was the assistant squad leader, my old partner, and we're still to this day are buddies. And I was at his wife's when she gave birth to her first child, and so we're pretty close. He's my boss. We used to be partners, and we're both supervisors. And we both have 3 guys working under us. Well, I get this guy coming in, okay, and he's real cocky, and he's there about 3 or 4 days, and trying to. He's not a young guy. He's not a boot. He's got like 16 years on or something, 15 years on. Very salty, very cocky. Okay, so we're talking. Somehow we came up with the word about carrying weapons. The word came out that they wanted to make sure the undercover officers were carrying their weapons in an accessible place. They had a shooting at the airport where the officers couldn't get to their gun because they were in a surveillance car. And the guy seemed to think, well, I got it in the car, I'll stick it on the seat. Well, apparently there was a small chase, and when the guy made the turn to stop the guy, the gun bounced across the seat. It's like your eyeglass or your cell phone, and it winds up on the side of the door. Well, you're getting out of the car to make a felony stop with a gun out. You ain't got no gun, because it bounced across the seat that's over here on the floor. There's that commercial going on TV where the little guy's underneath the seat. That's what you're trying to find your weapon. Well, okay, that's not going to work. So there was a shooting, and he didn't get shot, but he got shot at. So the investigation comes out that we want all guys to be carrying their weapons on them, even if you're in a car, okay? Sticking between your legs here doesn't work either. You slam on the brakes, it's on the floor, okay? Also, we have revolvers in, and now we start to get automatics. You put that down there, and the automatic, sometimes the safety doesn't work. So you're going to call you a unidexter. The round goes off. That's not the right word, but I thought I'd make one up, okay? You no longer have twins, you got one. You guys know what I mean, okay? So anyway, so we're talking about this, and he goes, "Oh no, I don't carry a gun. I put it down where I can get to it, but it's not going to roll around." I said, "Well, you probably should carry one. I'm a supervisor, right?" Well, okay, whatever. He didn't listen to me. I know he didn't. So I told my partner, "What do you think?" Well, he says, "Hey, this is an individual decision to make. We can't sit there like Big Brother and look at him, make sure that the gun's in the right place. We just tell him the right thing to do, document it. That way, if something happens, he can't say, 'Well, I was never told.' No, you were told. Okay, by a supervisor. You choose to ignore it." And therefore, you got shot, your partner got shot, a citizen got shot, and you could have stopped it. Okay, we're in the stopping business, okay? We don't start them, we stop them. Okay, so anyway, sure enough, man, we're working surveillance, which is 1 guy to a car. There's 7 of us out there following a suspect. Here it comes, okay? I'm trying to keep these stories short, but then again, I want to tell you what happened. He goes to a Carl's Jr., and that had nothing to do with the story, but he just went to a drive-through, and he's a single guy, so he's getting a lot of calls. We had the old pagers where all you get in the pager is the phone number. Not nowadays for everything, so no cell phones in. So he was a nice-looking kid, and he got a lot of calls from girlfriends, which is fine. So we get on the radio and say, "I'm off the air at Carl's," just to let everybody know where we're at, because everybody's spread out in this neighborhood watching the guys coming out of his house. So, okay, we noted it because we're his bosses, right? So then here's what happened. He pulls into a car. He's looking for a payphone, and there's 3 of them on a phone bank in the parking lot. So he pulls up next to the phones, and there's a step up. He gets out of his car, his undercover car, and goes to talk on the phone. And I was a supervisor, so I'm telling you what I interviewed him with afterwards, along with some sheriffs with there and a bunch of other people. Okay. Here's what he said. I get on the phone and I feel a metal object on the small of my back, and somebody says, "Give me your car." And I turn, and there's two Latin gentlemen, probably undocumented, who knows. One's got a 38 to his side right here where his kidneys are at, and he's got his hand. Give me your keys. Give me your keys. They wanted his car. Okay. Now, most of us are right-handed. So was he. You either carry your gun in your waistband. Those days I didn't have a belly, so you could stick it in there, or you stick it on a holster out here. Most of the time, all right-handers usually do that. You don't want to be fiddling around. So if this came out after the investigation, which they gave him some days off without pay for this, they said that if you had had your weapon with you, you could have turned and engaged the suspect. In other words, the gun's to my back. Okay, here's my wallet. You do some kind of ruse, and you reach down and you pull that baby out because you're a policeman, not a victim, and you blow him away. Been that simple. Okay, he didn't have a gun. Okay, so okay, don't hurt me. Gives him the keys. They didn't want to do anything with him. They got in the car, and he tells me that I had the most helpless feeling standing on that little stoop above the car on the little cement slab, looking down at these guys laughing, putting my car in reverse, and driving out of that parking lot in my car. I have no phone. I'm in a payphone. I have no gun. I have no ID because it's in my briefcase in the car. His gun is in the console. His backup gun is in the briefcase. And these guys are backing out and driving out of the Carl's Jr. parking lot. In the trunk are a set of golf clubs and a shotgun, because we all carry shotguns because we're policemen. So he calls downtown. He calls our dispatch lady, which is not really a dispatch, she just takes messages. She freaks out, puts it out over the air that he's been robbed on our frequency, so we're rolling to it. Here's the problem. She's putting it out over our frequency. The crooks are driving off in the car. They're hearing the whole broadcast. So if we say we saw the car going westbound, they're going to make a right turn and go northbound. They're not that stupid, okay? So now I'm sitting there driving going, oh my gosh, I can hear our frequencies. Oh my gosh. So I go, the helicopter's coming. So I get on the radio. Everybody go to TAC 2, which is a tactical frequency. Everybody go to TAC 2. Do not broadcast, okay? You know, the crook is on this frequency. Everybody shuts down real quiet. So everybody turns their radios over to the next frequency. Now we're talking to each other. Helicopter comes up. Well, it was a lag time. In other words, a time between time he called and the time we got the message. So we think that somewhere in here, it was off a major road, major highway, that we think our guys probably passed his car, not knowing that, because the information didn't come out that his car was taken, just that he was robbed. Because, again, he's calling a secretary. She's not a police officer. If it had been a police officer, you would have said, how'd you get robbed? What did they take? Then he would have put out a detailed broadcast, but probably here comes the crooks, and here we're coming responding to help him, and we probably passed him. Had to be. I don't know where they also would go, but maybe they did on side streets. I don't know. Okay, so anyway, so other units are responding, other R units, the sheriffs are responding. Of course, I'm a supervisor, so I roll in there, and he's standing there with it looked like a 9-year-old, just somebody took away his bicycle, you know. And well, what happened? Now I'm getting mad. What happened? I'm not mad. At first I'm concerned. Are you okay? I'm fine. Okay. What happened? As he tells me the story, I'm like, I'm doing one of these capers, you know, shaking my head. And he knows what I'm thinking. I go, I told you. I said, so-and-so told you about your gun. What's the matter with you? You know, now I'm yelling at him. Because I said, you could have been killed. I'm concerned about him. He goes, oh, I said, really? You're that salty? And he didn't like that. He looked at me, what? I said, you're that salty, huh? You're that smart. Nice going, you know. He goes, well, I said, I don't want to bury you, man. This is ridiculous. And I'm yelling, okay, fine. So that day, my other supervisor, my big guy was off. So my other partner supervisor, he pulls up. He's mad at him too, you know. Okay, so the sheriffs are pulling up. They're trying to find the car. They're taking the statements because now he's a victim. He's not an officer now. Gotta make your told you way back on realcopstoriesvideos.com. We have 355 of those babies. You have to make a decision when you become a police officer. You are now a police officer. I'm not saying you're not going to be a victim, but you're trying to avoid being a victim. And now that you're a policeman, you're trying to avoid causing the public more damage that is already out there. You just gave a car and 3 guns to two carjackers, basically. Does that help the community at large? No. You just risk more lives by doing that. okay, and officers. I'm going to stop these guys. Okay, anyway, get off my pedestal here. But it didn't upset me because, we told him. It'd be different if you didn't. We told him. Okay, so anyway, reports are taken. Our captain's notified. He's not happy. Okay, they find the car. About an hour later, they find the car. They call us. Hey, the car's out here. So we roll. My lieutenant rolls, and here's this car on the end of a dead-end street next to the railroad tracks. All the doors are open, and everything's gone. Yeah, and he had to admit that he had golf clubs in there, which is not a good thing. You're not supposed to have golf clubs, so now there's who knows? I was there another 18, 20 years. I never heard of the guns being recovered. I'm sure they're out there somewhere by somebody. 2 stolen guns and a shotgun, and golf clubs. And then for some reason they took out we have a radio headset down at the floor to put our frequencies. Somehow they took that. Maybe they thought they could tap in on our frequencies, but they don't understand that there's other electrical components that they have to make this thing work. But I don't know why they did that. But anyway, so I had to write a report on that. I had to go back and and take him after the sheriffs were done with him, and after we found the car, and then we inventoried for the sheriffs. Of course, they're taking this report initially. I got off sidetrack here. At the scene, he's telling the story because he's a victim, right? They're taking it. Okay. And as they're writing this down, I see other sheriffs are looking at me, and they're all going, and the supervisor's looking at me because he found out I was a supervisor, so we're standing together. He looks over at me going, "No gun?" I go, he just goes, I go, "Hey, we told him to carry a gun." He goes, "No gun." He goes, "I thought you guys were killing people left and right." Because, agencies always think the other agency's killing people left and right, and nobody's killing anybody left and right. Just, there are shootings that the media blow up, with 2 million police citizen contacts every year, and unfortunately you have a dozen or so people that turn guns on cops. I think that's a pretty small percentage of shootings, okay? Anyway, so he goes, "I thought you guys shot a lot of people." I says, "Yeah, well, not this guy. He's never going to shoot anybody without a gun." Now we're having this, we're merging in our thoughts that as supervisors, we need to take care of them, but if you lead a horse to water, right? You can't make him drink. We all told him, wear a gun. Okay, so that's all done. I get back to the station with him. I had to report to the captain. He goes in, the captain calls for him immediately to go in there and have a conference. Ugh. Okay. And so, that's going to knock you off for making the next step because the captain's already got you in his gun sights that you are not taking orders. And we told her, and the report's going to indicate, I'm not going to hold back, that for his safety and the safety of the public, he needs to carry a weapon the proper way. Not in the seat, not in the console. I made sure I put that in there and all that good stuff. Okay. And he appreciated it. I told him I was going to do it. He was not blindsided. You cannot lie on these reports. You have to tell accurately. It's for everybody's good here. Everybody. So anyway, so I took a report, and all that good stuff. Okay, fine. So, a day goes by. He has to go up and get a loaner gun from the armor because because the guns we want to carry, we have to buy. The city will issue one, but guys don't like those guns. They want to carry Glock 45s and all. So you have to buy it. So I had to buy another gun. It takes a few days to wait for it and all that good stuff. So the next day we're out doing something. We're meeting before we go home at night. And so we're talking, and I said, and so the whole squad, "I'll see you guys tomorrow." Okay, and then my partner and I told him, "Come here, I'll talk to you afterwards." So, and they already knew he was in trouble already. Everybody knows that, as long as I'm not in trouble, I don't care. As long as this guy's in trouble, that's terrible, but that's what it is. So we tell him, "Okay, now what do you do about this gun situation?" He goes, "I'm taking that son of a gun everywhere I go." He goes, I'm not going to ever have that happen to me again." I said, "Well, I'm glad you thought about that." Okay. He goes, "You know what? It's so bad. I go in the shower. I'm putting it in the shower with me. I'm putting it up on the soap rack." I go, "Well, you don't do that." He goes, I'm so paranoid now, I said, "Oh my, we're laughing." I go, "I don't think you have to do that, but again, cocky guys need to be slapped down once in a while. It's just the way it is, I have an old saying. I'm a Republican. We say the only reason why they're Democrats are a Democrat is they haven't been convicted. They haven't been a victim of a crime yet. Once you become a victim of a crime, all of a sudden you decide, wait a minute, the court's going to let him off. I'm paying taxes for his translator. He's going to get probation, no jail time. I'm going to have to pay for my own stuff that he ruined. Wait a minute. Well, what?" He says, "See, there's what happens. All of a sudden you flip the side, man. You go from the dark side to the light side." Anyway, so that's what happened to him. He just flipped completely, and all of a sudden I'm a gun-toting son of a gun now. Clint Eastwood walking around 2 guns. So that was a lesson learned. But he could have been killed. The guy could have just easily just shot him and take the keys, right? Or you give him the keys. That's not enough. Give me your wallet. I don't have a wallet. And boom, the gun goes off, and somebody's dead. He's dead. Or what if a citizen came up to want to help? He's dead. You gotta take, especially when you're on duty. Now off duty, I carry my gun randomly and I carry it around. But when you're an active officer, you are still an officer, 24 hours a day. You may have to be called upon to do stuff. It happens all the time. To do your job to protect the public. That's the way I always say this. Like I have a mobile dome. I'm in my dome with my family and my friends when we go out. there's this dome, and we drive around this dome. That dome meaning I have a gun on, no one's going to mess with us that night. I hate to sound cold-blooded, but that's the way it is. Especially things that nowadays, you got to protect each other. And so I'm still an officer. I'll still report it. I'll still respond to everything I'm supposed to do. Maybe it's in my blood. Probably is. I think when you cut my arm, it comes out blue. So anyway. So we're running out of time. So that's one long story. Sorry about that. But I want to tell you what happens as a supervisor and what I had to do in that instant. Do a little butt chewing and all that good stuff. So we'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.